Diana is the best FMC ever written. If there was a way I would describe the month of June when it comes to my reading, I will say it was the perfect month. I mean, last month was great, but this month I read really good books. Honestly, I I had a really amazing time. I'm finally out of my romantasy reading slump. I mean, you all know after Onyx Storm, I went into a big ass romantasy reading slump, and all the romantasy books I read after that they were good. Some of them were great, but none of them compared. None of them really brought me out of that slump that I was in until I read this particular book slash series, and baby, we are back. Okay, we are back in business. In the month of June, I read a total of 11 books, and they were really, really great. Majority of them, not all, but majority. I read really good, amazing books. The first book I read in June was The Trial of the Sun Queen. Honestly, I really, really loved this book. It was so, so good, good banter. It was really, really easy to get into. Honestly, if you want to start reading romantasy, I think this is also a good place to start. The word building was easy. Everything about getting into the book was really, really easy for me. And I fell in love with this book from the very first page. No, 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 from the very first sentence. Okay, this book started off with our FMC lawyer who has been in prison for about 12 years. Now, while in prison, she has been in prison. Actually, she has been in prison for 12 years together with her two other elder siblings. So while in prison, there was a fight. Okay, she started this fight with this girl, and as a punishment, she was isolated into this hole outside the prison where she was supposed to stay for like 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks. Now, while in that hole, there was a riot in the main prison. Also, while still in that hole, she was able to escape. Somebody helped her escape, broke her out of jail, basically. When she woke up after being broken out of jail, she found herself in this mansion, in this palace court sort of a thing, this sun court. And she was being thrown into this trial where she was going to compete to win the heart of the king, the trial of the Sun Queen. She was basically competing to be the Sun Queen. Anyway, our FMC law is a human, and she was meant to compete in this trial for the Sun Queen, where she'll be the queen to the Sun King, who is a fae. Now, initially, she thought it was all love and all that, but with a fae, there is usually a deeper thing going on that we do not know about. So, at the end of the day, it was it was a lot. It was a lot. I really, really loved this book. Should you read it? Yes, absolutely. I really, really love this book. And honestly, I am going to continue with this series. The second book I read in the month of June was The King of Slots. This is the fourth book in the Kings of Sin series, and honestly, it didn't really do it for me. Okay, I don't know, for some reason I've been disappointed by almost all the book in this series, the King of Sin series by Anna Wang. I didn't love it as much as I loved Twisted series. It started off with Xavier and Sloan. Sloan is a friend of Vivian, our FMC from the first book in the series, The King of Wrath. Now Sloan is a PR something something, PR manager, whatever, to Xavier. Xavier is the son of a billionaire. Now his father dies and wills his property and wills his properties and money to this guy, and he has to like keep up a good image in order to get his inheritance. He also has to be the CEO to his father's company, and Sloan was to help him make sure he keeps his image clean, and romance forms from there. Honestly, I did not like this book. It didn't really do it for me. I didn't love the characters. The book, I feel like both the FMC and the MMC lacked chemistry. It just didn't do it for me. I decided to go back to my, the love of my life. I decided to go back to romantasy and read romantasy again, because apparently romantasy is the only thing that gives me joy. The third book I read in the month of June was The Book of Azure. I know this book has been in my TBR for 2 months, I think 2 months in a row, and I finally got to it. And honestly, I wish I started this book earlier, because everything about this series was perfect. This series the Gods and Monsters series, this was the series that brought me out of a romantic reading slump. I loved this book. There's nothing about this book that I didn't love. Keyword love. Okay, this book started off with Diana, our FMC, who is a human, and her sister was about to die in this world after their parents had died. Her sister was her only living family. But then this guy, she meets this guy in the desert who helps her, takes her to Caden. Caden is a monster. He heals her sister by turning her sister into this monster, and also turns Diana, our FMC, into the same monster that he is. But then the payment for healing his sister was that Diana will be his slave, basically work for him all the days of her life, and she didn't care. She just wanted her sister alive, and she didn't care what the consequences was. But then came along our MMC Samikel, who is a god. Him and Diana are enemies. They try to off each other at some point in this book. But then they decided to like make a deal. They strike a deal in order to save Diana's sister's life and protect her from Caden. They have to work together and then look for this book, the Book of Azrael, which was the book that had the secrets to building a god weapon that could kill a god. The Book of Azrael was a book that Caden has been looking for centuries, and he sent Diana to go look for it. Diana ends up spilling the secret to Samikal, and they both decide to work together, and a romance blossoms. This book is a true enemies to lovers. When I say enemies to lovers, it is a true enemies to lovers, not the kind where they fall in love from the second chapter. Not this one, okay, baby? It was so good. Diana is the perfect FMC. She is the best FMC ever written in any book. And this book, it was so good. At the end of this book, our FMC and our MMC aren't even lovers, okay? After reading the Book of Azrael, I was like, since I've already started the Kings of Sin series and I've already read 4 books in the series, I might as well finish all the books in the series. So the 4th book I read in the month of June was King of Envy, and it gave me basically the same vibes that the King of Frauds gave me. I didn't really like it that much, but it was way more better than King of Pride and King of Slots. The King of Envy starts off with Vok, who is our MMC, and Ayana, who is our FMC. Ayana is a model who is one of the best models. Then there is Vok, this billionaire. Ayana is engaged to Vok's best friend, and Vok is supposed to be the best man to Ayana's fiance. But then something happens, okay, with Ayana's work. Vok has secretly been in love with Ayana for years, and he didn't tell his best friend. And because his best friend didn't know that Vok had feelings for Ayana, he went for Ayana. It turned out it was an arranged engagement slash arranged marriage. And the book basically goes on from there. I didn't really like it that much, but basically gave me like, you know, King of Rots vibes. It didn't do it for me. I've been disappointed over and over again by most of the books in that series. So far, the only book in that series that I actually came very close to liking so much was The King of Rots and The King of Greed. I think King of Greed was actually my favorite book in that series. That was just it. So I won't be continuing with this series again. I decided to go back to the love of my life again. And I started off with The Throne of Broken, because this is the second book in the Gods and Monsters series. And this book, it was even better than the first book. I loved it so much. It started off right where the Book of Azrael ended, with Samikel and Diana going back to becoming enemies after some sort of romance blossomed between them. They went back to becoming enemies because of how the Book of Azrael ended. Diana wanted to kill him at some point and do everything she could for Samikel to hate her. Samikel at some point almost gave up on her, but then didn't do that. And he really was the rope that, you know, tried to drag her back so she doesn't lose herself. And it was really good. Okay, I can't say much about this book so I don't give you spoilers. This book will forever live in my soul, spirit, soul, and body. And I'll be rereading this series as many times as I possibly can. By the way, there are going to be 7 books in this series, and so far there are 3 books out, with the 4th book coming out sometime in, I think, the end of October this year. And honestly, I cannot wait to read the 4th book because I already read the 3rd book, and the 3rd book is the 6th book that I read in the month of June. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is the Dawn of the Cursed Pain. It is the 6th book I read in the month of June and the 3rd book in the Gods and Monsters series. This book started off exactly where the Throne of Broken Gods ended. I can't say much about this book, but it was so good. This was a 5-star read for me, and a lot of things were happening. See, the Gods and Monsters series in general, this was a fast-paced series, a slow burn, but not slow pace. Okay, a lot of things were happening. You have to hold your horses when reading the series because it was that good. I read The Invisible Life of Adelari. This is a suburban romantasy sort of, and honestly, I liked it at the beginning. It starts off with Adi, our FMC, who made a deal with this god for her to become invincible and be able to do whatever she likes. Okay, technically, she said she wanted freedom in order to do whatever she likes because her parents wanted her to get married and have children at such a young age, but she wanted to explore the world and live her life a little before settling down. But then, with being forced to get married, she ran away on her wedding day, made a deal with a god who ended up twisting her wish and basically turned her invincible. So she became invincible. Everyone forgot about her. She couldn't make a mark in this world. Her parents, her friends, everyone forgot about her. So she decided to move on with her life. And she has been alive for a really, really, really long time. And then came our MMC, Henry, who also made a deal with the same god in order to be whatever anyone wants him to be. At the end of the day, everybody didn't really see him for who he is until Adi came into the picture, and the book basically goes on from there. I didn't like this book. Well, not that I didn't like it, I didn't hate it either. I liked it at the beginning, but at some point, I basically lost touch with the book. I didn't like the characters anymore. I couldn't, relate to the book. I couldn't deeply loved the book. I don't even know how to explain it. It just didn't do it for me. I DNFed this book and it hurts me. I really gave it my all. I DNFed this book at 60%. This is to show you that I really tried my best. At some point I just gave up. I just gave up. The book didn't do it for me. So I decided to read thrillers. I haven't read thrillers since I think March or February. So I, decided to go back to thriller and try some other genres since the last book I read didn't do it for me. So I read The Perfect Marriage by Jennifer Rose. This book, it was sort of predictable for me. I mean, the end, sort of, I saw it coming. But then the things that led to the end shocked me. Okay, this book started off with Sarah Morgan, our FMC, who is a hotshot criminal defense lawyer, and her husband, Adam, who is a writer. Adam has been cheating on Sarah for a long time. Sarah had no idea. Then Adam's mistress, gets killed in their house. Adam is blamed for his murder, and now his hotshot lawyer, Sarah, has to defend him in court. Honestly, imagine how you're going to feel finding out that your husband is cheating on you, and you have to defend him in court for murder of his mistress that he has been cheating on you on with for over a year. So that was basically what happened in this book. And honestly, Sarah really, really tried her best in court. The end of the book, I sort of saw it coming, but the things that led to the end, it shocked me because I was like, huh? How? I said to go into another genre because this month was all about me exploring different genres. I started to dabble into dark mafia romance. So I read The Shattered Hearts. Honestly, this book, it didn't do it for me. I was disappointed. Honestly, come to think of it, I had a lot of disappointments in June, but then I also had a lot of good books. The Shattered Hearts started off with our FMC and our MMC. Riley is our FMC, while Finn is our MMC. Riley is a twin and she has been kicked out of her mafia family because of something she did in the past. Then one day her twin sister invites her to a party. Riley comes to this party that her sister Harper had invited her to. It turned out to be an engagement party between Harper, her twin sister, and this guy Finn that's She has had a crush on for the longest time. She was hurt, but she decided to move on. After all, she had already left their mob of a family. On the day of the wedding, Harper runs away. And now, Riley coming to her sister's wedding, her father tells her, your sister ran away. You have to be a pretend bride to the groom, so the groom doesn't know what happened. So now she has to pretend to be her sister. She goes ahead with this wedding and she thinks that's where it's going to end, but now she has to also pretend to be his wife. And the book basically goes on from there. It didn't really do it for me, but it was an okay book. So after the disappointment, I decided to go back to thriller again, and I read The Perfect Divorce. The Perfect Divorce is a sequel to The Perfect Marriage, and this book was perfect. Honey, it was so good. Okay, I loved it so much. Now, The Perfect Divorce starts off with Sarah, our FMC, who is still a hotshot lawyer, and now she has to divorce her husband. By the way, it was not her husband from the first book. This was another husband. And then she finds out that this husband is also cheating on her. Crazy thing is that the second husband has an idea, actually knows what's transpired between her and her first husband, and he goes ahead to hurt her in the same way the first husband did. And in a Sarah Morgan type of way, she did shit. And this book was amazing. It was way more better than the first book. I loved everything about The Perfect Divorce. This was The Perfect Divorce, okay? I said to like read another book by her, also a thriller. One of Us is Dead. Now, this one disappointed me a little. I mean, it was okay, but it sort of disappointed me. Now, One of Us is Dead starts off with this group of women who are married to rich and influential women. These women are rich and influential in this suburban community, sort of city, sort of. They were married to influential men, some of them businessmen, and some of them politicians. These women basically secretly hate each other and they are beefing and competing with each other. It was just a lot. Honestly, I can't even remember the names of the characters because there were a lot of characters. This book has multiple points of view. I think majority of the characters, actually all the characters in this book had their own points of view. These women, one of the things that brought them together was this salon where they go for their beauty treatment. The salon was owned by Jenny. The book starts off with Jenny being questioned by a detective about someone dying. Now, we do not know who died until the last or maybe 3 chapters to the end of the book. That was when we found out who died. And this book, I did not see the end coming, okay? I thought it was someone else. At some point, I was guessing who died and who didn't die. Then I was guessing who killed who and who didn't kill who. It was quite a lot. Did I like the book so much? No. I feel like the characters, almost all the characters in this book was toxic. Was it Shannon? Shannon was married to this politician who ended up divorcing her and marrying his mistress, Crystal. Crystal becomes friends with, I think, Kate or Casey. I don't remember her name. And this Casey or Kate is Shannon's best friend. Now, Shannon feels like she has been betrayed, but then there was this other woman. Honestly, the characters in these books are quite a lot, and I don't really remember all their names, but it was an okay book. Now, the final and 11th book that I read in the month of June was Say You Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Honestly, this book was out of my comfort zone, not because there was anything wrong with it, but because contemporary romance, cute and fluffy contemporary romance, is not really the way I roll. But I really liked this book. Say You Remember Me. Our MMC, Xavier Rush, is a veterinary doctor who is grumpy. Now, this book starts off with Samantha, our FMC, coming in with a rescued cat that she rescued from the road to see this veterinary doctor, Xavier, because something was wrong with the cat. He needed surgery. Xavier offered to put down the cat instead of letting the cat suffer, but Samantha said no, she was going to save the cat. And their first meeting didn't really go well for her, but she ended up saving the cat. Samantha and Xavier goes out on a date, and the book basically goes up from there. I really loved this book. It was cute and fluffy, and I didn't really think I would like it as much as I did, but I liked it. I loved how it ended. It was so, so good. A lot of things we are hindering them from starting off their relationship, but at the end of the book, it's ended well. And honestly, I liked it. I didn't think I will, but I liked it. Anyways, my loves, that is the end of this video. Okay, those are the 11 books that I read in the month of June. I'll see you next time, and keep coming back, subscribe to my channel, and help your baby girl grow, please. Okay, if you've been here before and this is your second time, or maybe your third time, or even if it's your first time of coming to my channel, can you subscribe? Okay, it's all fun here, especially for us homebodies who love to read at home and basically doesn't have a life. So please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Till this, bye.